Hello students, week 13 physics, grade 10, chapter 24, lesson 2, first law of thermodynamics, part 1, textbook page 470 to 471. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to state the first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. Actually, thermodynamics, the meaning is thermo means heat, dynamics means work. So in this chapter, you will be dealing with heat and work relationship. In the 18th century, heat was thought to be an invisible fluid called caloric, which flowed like water from hot objects to cold objects. In 1840s, James Joule demonstrated that the flow of heat was nothing more than the flow of energy itself. The caloric theory of heat was gradually abandoned. So what did James Joule say? You can see this figure. This is an apparatus made by, or you can say experimental setup made by James Joule. So as the weights fall, they give up potential energy and warm the water accordingly. You can see there are weights on either sides, and there is a pedal wheel inside this you can say container, and there is water inside. So what happens, as the weights fall, they give up potential energy and warm the water accordingly. This was first demonstrated by James Joule, for whom the unit of energy is named. So you know, heat unit of heat is joules, and why the unit is given? It's because James Joule was the first one who actually experimentally proved or defined heat. Today, we view heat as a form of energy. And you know, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. You learned already law of conservation of energy. The first law of thermodynamics is the law of conservation of energy applied to thermal systems. So there is no difference. Law of conservation of energy, you know already, that is, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And first law of thermodynamics is the law of conservation of energy applied to thermal systems. Okay. By system, we mean any group of atoms, molecules, particles, or objects we wish to deal with. So, what is a system? A system means anything with you can say more components, they work together for a specific purpose. The system may be the steam in a steam engine, the whole Earth's atmosphere is a system, or even the body of a living creature can be a system. It is important to define what is contained within the system as well as what is outside of it. So that's very important. If we add heat energy to a system, the added energy does one or both of two things. So what will happen if you add heat into a system? It increases the internal energy of the system if it remains in the system, or it does external work if it leaves the system. So the first law of thermodynamics states heat added equals increase in internal energy plus external work done by the system. So you can state first law of thermodynamics as the heat added equals increase in internal energy plus external work done by the system. So whenever heat is added, internal energy will be increased and external work will be done. Let's say you put an air-filled rigid airtight can on a hot plate and add a certain amount of energy to the can. Remember, do not actually do this. The can has a fixed volume and the walls of the can don't move, so no work is done. All of the heat going into the can increases the internal energy of the enclosed air, so its temperature rises. So you can see here internal energy increases. Now suppose that we replace the can with a balloon. As the air is heated, balloon expands, exerting a force for some distance on the surrounding atmosphere. Some of the heat added goes into doing work, as you see. So less of the added heat goes into increasing the enclosed air's internal energy. So temperature of the enclosed air will be lower than that of the air in the closed can. When a given quantity of heat is supplied to a steam engine, some of this heat increases the internal energy of the steam. The rest is transformed into mechanical work as the steam pushes a piston outward. So what is happening whenever heat is added? It can do either increasing internal energy or it can do external work, or it can do both of these. The first law of thermodynamics is the thermal version of the law of conservation of energy. Now, can you give the answer? What does the first law of thermodynamics state? Thank you and see you next time.